the country, and we're green. And Houghton leading into turn 1. Watch that move now, and of course, you always have to keep an eye out for Eric Coutil, who drove an absolutely brilliantly judged race yesterday. It's cool out there this morning, which helps those front drive cars a lot, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'll be excited to watch the heavier Corvettes as well. They have the extra tire over the lighter cars, but some of them started to suffer late in the race yesterday.
Well, and their tires tend to fire up faster as well, but tell you up front right now, that was an absolutely superb launch by Houghton and Coutil. They've already opened up. You can see that bit of a margin back to our points leader in that black number 7. And then Rosenberg right now looks like he's under attack. That might be Ronnie Videk, who has got a great start here.
Yeah, nice job by Waldbaum defending into 8.
Waldbaum in that sort of gray and yellow. Big drop off in the back there. But Waldbaum, he had trimmed his rear wing out. They already made some adjustments on that car. He's right behind these guys. There he is. They took the front spoiler off because they said it was pinning the nose too much. And so they wanted that to change, but he had a fair amount of wing in the car yesterday, and he said I was going nowhere on the straight. And for Ronnie Videk, they found a problem with the brake fluid and solved that, and he said we should be a little bit better, because if you remember, Videk started really well and then just faded big time. He said at one point the brake went right to the firewall, and so he was dealing with an issue. But look at Houghton starting to stretch it, and McGrew now coming after Coutil. Yeah,
Videk's definitely not having any issues on the brakes today. He's attacking Waldbaum very well.
And look at this, McGrew going down the inside into turn 1 of Coutil, and that's what I'm talking about. Other series, you can bet McGrew would have just shut the door there, but because Coutil had that little bit of overlap, he had to give him that space. And we've seen guys in this series go through 6-7 corners side by side, but that little bit of jousting between those two guys, look out the margin that Houghton's got here. Remember, these are 12 to 15 minute races, and if you get a lead like that, James Houghton, it's going to be difficult to get by him.
Yeah, and Rosenberg closed right in on that battle there after McGrew and Coutil went side by side. It allowed the people behind him to close up. So.
Well, and this is a momentum class. When you've got Honda Civics, very competitive in the class, including Corvettes. There's an LS swap V8 in the 184 of Jensen, but they have to be reined in a lot, and it's all power to weight. And as a result, all these cars racing together in one class. But when you rein a car in like that, even though it starts with big power, and there's a little error by Coutil, just lit up that unloaded inside rear, even the Vets now become a momentum car.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have cars only making 200 to 230 wheel horsepower, I mean, you have to take what you can.
Oh, look at this. Nice move there. Waldbaum, while Videk there, that number 99, trying to work on Rosenberg, and Waldbaum taking advantage. Now he's got the inside through 14. That may have been an unintentional tap. Waldbaum looked like he went to throttle and the back end stepped out and may have tapped Videk and knocked him off track. He got right back on again in a big hurry, but the 236 at Kozlow and that silver BMW really putting on a great run here early. Started 8th, already up to 6th.
Yeah, Kozlow was in the right place, right time to take advantage of that error there.
That's a big part of it, is opportunity. You've got to be opportunistic when something happens here. This track, not easy to pass on to start with, and you just got to jump on those opportunities. That was a really, really nice move. And the other guy, we were talking about Eric Magnuson. I said he made some big aero changes. You were the one who was telling me about that. What's he done?
Yeah, he's taken the rear wing off of that car completely. And so with the power to weight formula of Gridlock, that allows him to add power or take weight, and I believe he's went the add power route.
It's always nice when you get, especially in traffic, a little more power is your friend. There's no question about that. But he is being hounded here right now by the 129 of James Cathers. And at the opening round at Circuit of the Americas, Cathers was one of the really quick guys out there. And he's all over the back of Magnuson. Now, Cather has that big wing. He gets a great drive through the kink now, turn 10, and is on the inside and might not that lack of, but look at the acceleration coming out. Magnuson now on the inside at 12, and now this is the definitive increasing radius corner, but with that overlap, Cather's just able to stay right there. I wonder if that rear wing in these cooler conditions is firing up Cather's tires a little bit quicker.
Oh yeah, and Magnussen's clearly struggling in the higher speed corners and in the braking zones, so that might have not have been the right move to make.
Yeah, always looking for that straight line, if at all possible. There's the gap between Vidak in the 7th spot and Magnussen in this great battle with Cathers. Jensen is in that as well, in that LSV8 swapped Scion, essentially. And it's so cool to, you see that car, then you hear it, and you go, boy, that's different. There he is in that frame. But this battle, Vidak now seems to be feeling it again and looks right now to be coming after Kozlow. And again, we're 9 minutes left at this point, and it can happen anytime between 12 and 15 minutes. So like we were talking about yesterday, you don't have a lot of, you can't just sit back for a long chunk of the race. You've got to get going and get your business done.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Catil just had the fastest lap that time by, so he's closing out that gap on Houghton. We saw late in the race yesterday, Houghton fell back, so I'll be interested to see what Catil did, as he also made a late charge yesterday.
Well, we heard, I haven't talked to Houghton, but we heard that in the race yesterday, he started having all kinds of alarms and lights coming on in the car, and so hopefully they got that solved. And he has worked really, really hard on this program. I mean, the car has great potential. James is a good driver, and when everything hangs together, he's oftentimes an absolute threat for the win. But yeah, that margin now down to 1.7 seconds, and that's closing down in a real hurry here. That's well under a second right now, and we've still got plenty of race yet to go at this stage. Here they come, and you can see how much closer now Catil and McGrew are, and we'll see what that official margin is. But yeah, under a second now, Chris, they are coming.
Absolutely. Yeah, Catil is closing in very fast.
And you can see that group behind them again, Rosenberg and Waldbaum 4th and 5th, Kozlow and Vidak 6th and 7th. And Jensen has been both Cathers and Jensen have gone around Magnussen. And my bet is that when Cathers made the move, it opened the door up, and Jensen pounced.
Yeah, Magnussen is struggling. He is falling back hard right now.
Yeah, he is such a talented driver, a champion in some other club racing activities, really good driver, and just looking for that speed. And in a straight line in May have gone a little bit too much. Waldbaum took a lot of that rear wing out because he said he was definitely slow, but he still left a bit in to try and plant those rears just a little bit. And now Catil is dropping McGrew just a little bit, and I think it is the gap between Houghton and McGrew hasn't changed. It's Catil now driving away from McGrew and closing on Houghton.
Yeah, I think the tires are getting hot on the heavier Corvettes. We saw exiting the carousel there, Rosenberg had a bit of a slide, so I wonder if they're just overheating their tires now.
Yeah, it's interesting. You think about sometimes what aero does. If you're not running aero and the back end starts to get happy with these heavier cars, then they slide, and that's when they start to really overheat tires. So aero doesn't just give you extra stick. Sometimes it can improve your tire life because the car's not sliding and that track's not becoming a cheese grater. So this is one of the many nuances that makes this sport so fascinating.
Yeah, and that lap, Vidak managed to get around Kozlow, so he's moving back up.
Boy, for a second, Houghton had fast lap of the race, then Catil came through and stole it back again. That margin now down to 7 tenths, 9 tenths last time by. So Catil is definitely moving up, but Houghton clearly has responded a little bit. And I wonder maybe he just took a lap a little easy to get those front tires in better shape.
Yeah, Houghton definitely went for a heavier formula than Catil on the power to weight. And so with that, he's going to overheat his tires a bit more. We saw how Catil just made that late race charge yesterday, so yeah, he's trying to do it again.
Well, he is so savvy. I mean, that was, I would say, ooh, that's lap car, but getting way out of the way. Catil, that was what you truly would call a well-judged race. He played that to perfection, and it looks like he may have the same gambit going on today now. And Vidak able to get back around Kozlow, and he'll be pleased with that, trying to show some speed here. Is that car behind? Is that car crabbing? The one that just got passed? It looked like it had something wrong on this point, but here we go now into that really tricky complex, 12 and 13.
And once you turn into 12, super late turn in right, and then you just let it unwind, and the wider you can run, the easier it is to accelerate.
Yeah, and Catil has been so good through that section the entire weekend. Look at this gap here.
Oh, it's coming down as we are now under 5 minutes, but that could be even shorter here. And we're going to see, and yeah, Houghton is slowly dropping in to the grasp of Eric Catil. The margin now 0.4 of a second officially at the line. Don't need us to tell you that. You can see how close it is right now, and this is just fascinating. That race yesterday was absolutely superb, and this one's looking to be as well as good. But those two cars up front have really started to drop McGrew a little bit. Again, your points leader coming in, and Rosenberg, Walbaum, another 3 seconds back. So it's mano a mano right now between these two front-wheel drive machines.
Yeah, but McGrew's still keeping a safe distance, so if one of them makes a mistake, McGrew can take advantage of it still.
And that's key, of course, is that we talked about an opportunity. You want to be able to be there. Houghton, that's an Acura TSX that he's running. Catil, that's a Honda Civic. And and then behind them is a Corvette, the Nissan. Look at this now. Walbaum is closed in drastically on the back of Rosenberg at this point in that S2000. So, I mean, it's such variety in this series. And there's nowhere else you're going to see Corvettes, Honda Civics, S2000s running in the same class and this competitively.
Yeah, and we saw yesterday late in the race how Rosenberg just fell off, and I'm wondering if the exact same thing's happening again today because Waldbaum is just right on him.
Yeah, he said it was right in this sequence of corners. He just could not get the power down and started, I think, at that point to roast his tires just a little bit. And Catil, look at that, almost getting a nose underneath. It's on. And Walbaum attacking Rosenberg for that 4th and 5th spot. White flag coming out, last lap. Can Catil do it again? He made a pass for the win on the last lap yesterday. What can Houghton do right now? Remember, at that point, when McGrew hit that curb, and that allowed Catil to get through. But look at his roll speed again through 2 and 3. He really owns that piece of track.
Yeah, he's right on him. The difficult part is Houghton is so much faster in a straight line, so Catil is either going to have to get it done in a braking zone or a corner.
Well, that's where, if you can get that overlap just like that, and he ducks to the inside, Houghton left that door open. And that's one of the things, Houghton drove what would normally be the fastest line by yourself, but not a great line when there's somebody really hungry behind you. And now he's got to turn in a little early and defend on Catil. He still was a little wide there, but it didn't hurt him too much. But like you said, he's got straight line. And although Catil in that draft, Catil is using that draft a little bit. Now we'll see what happens here in this kink. Wickedly quick piece of track. And now Catil had to get out of it. Now does Houghton defend just a little bit? You are allowed to defend. And he does when he goes wide. And Catil ducks down underneath. Midair, side by side, up into turn 12. And let's see, does Catil go for the over-under? He's thinking about it. He's got a little bit of overlap. He's there. Houghton has to, by rule, give him that space. Catil now has the nose ahead, heading into the final turn. And look at what McGrew is doing. Can the Corvette over-under here and beat them both to the line with the grunt? Here he comes. Catil trying to defend Houghton, but it's now McGrew in second. Houghton trying to get after it at the line. How close do you like it, folks? Catil gets the second win by a 10th over McGrew. The top 3, Chris, covered by under a 1/4 of a second.
Yeah, and for the second race in a row, we see McGrew drag racing Houghton to the line and beating him out.
Absolutely unbelievable. Boy, I'll tell you, this Grid Life Touring Cup racing is exceptional.